I'm at the David L. Lawrence Convention Center where this year's 22nd annual Pirate Fest is taking place. Texting while driving is probably one of the most dangerous things you can do. That's why Governor Tom Corbett signed a bill to ban texting while driving in Pennsylvania. For the second time in 6 months, drivers in some Pittsburgh neighborhoods will have to put more quarters into the city's parking meters. There was so much stuff stashed inside the van that the thieves used, police had it taken to a fire department so that they could see everything that was inside.
It's just like unbelievable to lose 2 grandchildren right before Christmas.
The loss of his 2 grandsons, 6-year-old Kyerick and 7-year-old Myjerick McCullough, still hasn't set in for David Brown and his son.
They just had each other's back. They was good kids.
It was there at this house on Nolan Court that Andrew McCullough's 2 sons, their 3-year-old sister and mother, and Dara Culverson, died in a fire just after midnight. The victim's family drove all the way from Sharon, PA, and then called to meet with me as soon as they learned the heartbreaking news.
Just to even hear how my grandson tried to put out the fire himself. They were great children.
Loved ones have been dropping off flowers and stuffed animals outside the now burnt-out townhouse. It was here where we found the 3 brave young neighbors who rescued a 3-year-old girl from the living room couch, but were unable to get to her mother and 3 siblings.
Banging on people's doors, trying to get the neighbors out, screaming fire, did everything that was right, but it wasn't enough.
Police believe the children set a mattress on fire and then unsuccessfully tried to put it out. Investigators say that there were working smoke detectors and a 31-year-old man downstairs who escaped unharmed.
I know that there's the questions that we're asking is not going to bring them back, but we definitely want to know.
The surviving girl is now staying with her grandmother, and the cause of this tragedy is still under investigation, and we'll keep you up to date as we learn new details. From the newsroom, I'm Ashley Connor. The first day of hunting season got off to a terrible start for a father and son. That's because the teen ended up in Children's Hospital after being shot in the leg. I caught up with Regis Denny right after he finished securing the scene where the shooting happened.
I was in there and I know what was there.
He gets called out to investigate hunting incidents and calls what happened in the area of Mill Hill Road and Scenery Drive out of the ordinary.
This is very, very unusual. Hunting is really a safe sport if the rules are followed, the safety rules.
I learned from Elizabeth Township Police the father and his 14-year-old son were up early to hunt and getting things into their tree stand when things went wrong.
Turns out that they were hoisting shotguns up into a tree stand, but one of the shotguns accidentally discharged.
The bullet hit the teen in his thigh. His dad carried him out of the woods into an ambulance that took him from here to Children's Hospital. Investigators with the Pennsylvania Game Commission are talking with the father and son about what happened.
One of the primary rules of gun safety, and especially when dealing with tree stands, you do not pull a loaded firearm into a tree stand.
Now, there's no word right now on how the teen is doing, and when I asked if there will be any citations in this incident, I was told that will be determined once the investigation wraps up. In Elizabeth Township, I'm Ashley Connor. I'm here on the North Shore where this year's Pittsburgh Polar Plunge is taking place. Hundreds of people showed up in support of this event. Hundreds of people gathered to watch more than 1,000 people plunge into the Ohio River, all to raise money for Special Olympics Pennsylvania.
Oh, it's great. We did it for my students in my classroom.
The Polar Plunge is done statewide and benefits athletes in Pennsylvania. Lynn Swan, a 4-time Steelers Super Bowl champ and co-owner of the Pittsburgh Power, served as Master of Ceremonies. A total of 101 teams participated this year and were mostly sponsored by law enforcement agencies. More than $180,000 was raised to benefit Special Olympics Pennsylvania. Reporting on the North Shore, I'm Ashley Connor. Good morning. It is Saturday, December 3rd. I'm Ashley Connor. We will have more on today's top stories in just a moment, but first, meteorologist Kevin Benson is in Severe Weather Center 11 with a look at your forecast. Brand new developments in the Penn State sex abuse scandal. Today, we are hearing from Jerry Sandusky in his own words. Sandusky sat down for an in-depth interview with the New York Times. The newspaper released that interview overnight. Sandusky is the former assistant football coach at Penn State who is accused of molesting 8 boys over a 15-year period. He denies the allegations, and Sandusky was asked about an interview he gave last month with Bob Costas. The interview was played right here on Channel 11 and NBC. The New York Times also asked Sandusky about his physical activity with children. We'll have that when our coverage continues in less than 15 minutes. Another big story we're following this morning, Republican presidential candidate Herman Cain is expected to announce today if he will remain in the race for the White House. Cain continued along the campaign trail, making a stop yesterday in South Carolina. There, he told the crowd he'd decide the future of his campaign. Cain has come under fire following allegations earlier this week that he had a 13-year extramarital affair. Cain has said all week that he is reassessing his campaign. He said his wife and family must come first. One Cain supporter pleaded with the candidate at a South Carolina town hall meeting to stay in the race. In news overnight, firefighters are called to battle flames at a local restaurant. The fire started around 3 this morning at the King's Restaurant on Route 30 in North Versailles. So far, no injuries have been reported and the cause of the fire has not been determined. In news overnight, a house goes up in flames in Lawrence County. This happened along Cliff Street in Union Township. Firefighters tell us they had to let the fire burn itself out because there was a danger of the house collapsing. No one was living in the house, but the fire is suspicious and the fire marshal is investigating. We have learned a student in the Bethel Park School District has been diagnosed with MRSA. District leaders say the student attends Independence Middle School. School officials have sent a letter home to parents urging them to talk to their children about proper hygiene. District officials have been in contact with the health department. MRSA is a staph infection resistant to normal antibiotics. One person is facing charges following a lockdown at St. Vincent College. Police say Alexander Luger passed out in a car Thursday night. When he woke up, he allegedly started attacking 2 campus police officers. The campus was briefly put in lockdown for a second time. Earlier in the day, it was on lockdown for a report of an armed gunman. Police think the person may have been a hunter. Now, police in Washington County continue to look for a person who shot a man near a playground. We found officers looking for evidence at the basketball courts at the Lemoyne Center in East Washington yesterday afternoon. They tell us Marty Brown was shot twice. Police and neighbors are especially worried because the center houses a daycare and many senior citizens live nearby. Police say they know who fired the shots and are looking for him right now. The victim is expected to be okay. A woman is recovering in the hospital after being hit by a car in the Strip District. It happened yesterday morning along Penn Avenue. The driver was turning left onto 16th Street when witnesses say he hit the woman with his car. Police tell us the intersection is pretty safe, but those who walk there say they have to take extra precautions. We're told the woman is being treated for a head injury and is in stable condition. Charges are pending against the driver. Their names have not been released. We continue to follow a developing story this morning. Jerry Sandusky speaks out in his defense. The suspect at the center of the Penn State sex abuse scandal gives an extensive interview. Continuing coverage is next. Plus, a controversial treatment for breast cancer is no longer approved. We'll tell you about the fight to bring the drug back despite the risks.